three speakers. On my left is Mark Lowe from the Kidnap Ransom magazine, a well-known security advisor and expert. We have Nasir El Rufai, former FCT Minister of Nigeria, who is sitting just over to my right there, who will be speaking first this evening and may have to leave early this evening. We'll come to that. And you will probably have heard of Al-Haji Lai Mohammed, please forgive my pronunciation, who is the spokesperson for the All Progressive Congress, and he will be taking questions in relation to his party tonight. We're looking forward to that. They will introduce themselves first. I haven't given a good introduction because deliberately I prefer them to introduce themselves. They will speak for around 10 minutes or so, perhaps a little bit more, perhaps a little bit less. And then we will formulate some questions, and we'll go back to them. And that's how it works. So, could I ask, unless I've forgotten something, and I have forgotten something, which is to welcome all our good guests from the Nigerian High Commission, Diaspora of London, and business guests that I normally invite, who they all know who they are. Thank you for coming to this evening. Thank you for filling the room. And let me go to my first speaker, please.
Thank you. We were invited here to speak to you on the challenges of insecurity in Nigeria and the Boko Haram insurgency. And since I have only 10 minutes, I'll go straight to the point. I want to, in the 10 minutes I have, ask a few questions, and then I'll try to answer them from my perspective. So this is the seriousness of the problem. We have a serious insurgency going on, occupying a large swath of territory of Nigeria and affecting the lives of hundreds, if not millions of people. Already, nearly 250,000 people have been displaced, internally displaced. Thousands of people, nearly 15,000 people have died as a result of this insurgency. That is the challenge. That is a serious challenge. But why is the government so helpless? Why does it look as if it is doing nothing? Is it doing something? Now, I think that the insurgency could have been nipped in the bud 4 years ago when it started. But the attitude of the Jonathan government is that this is a northern problem. If northerners kill themselves, that's fine. And no concrete action was taken to deal with it in its infancy. And you know, infants tend to grow. And when they grow, they mature. And when they mature, they learn to do things better. And that's what has happened in the metamorphosis of Boko Haram. I was here in London in June 2011 to speak at Chatham House. And at the end of it, the Nigerian High Commission and the PDP people had a small cocktail in London Hilton on Hackney. And one of Jonathan's advisors told a friend of mine who was very active in the OPC that if Northerners want to kill themselves, they are welcome to it. We are not going to intervene. So this is the official attitude of the Jonathan government towards Boko Haram in the beginning. There are also other narratives that I will come to. But one of them was that this whole Boko Haram thing is a conspiracy of Northerners against a Christian president, forgetting that Obasanjo was a Christian president and he didn't have to deal with Boko Haram, among other things. So where we are now is that Boko Haram, through a combination of government incompetence or an attitude of I don't care, with the break up of Libya and the availability of weapons from that corridor, has become a very serious fighting force. At about the same time that the Nigerian armed forces have, either by design or by accident, have degraded their capability to be a fighting force. So soldiers run away, their wives protest that their husbands will not go out to fight. This is not the Nigerian army we used to know. 3 of my brothers served in the army. One died during the Civil War, but this was not the army we used to know. What's going on? An entire division, 7th division of 9,000 officers and men was created and deployed to Maiduguri to contain this insurgency. The 3rd division in Jos is supposed to overlook Damaturu. The 1st division in Kaduna is supposed to overlook Kano. So what's going on? Why is it that nothing seems to be happening, or a team of ragtag soldiers, ragtag fanatics have suddenly become more organized and more capable than the largest fighting force in Africa? I think these are questions that only time and intelligence and some disclosure will answer. I can't give any answers. But I put these questions to you so that you think through. Is there any government in the world that is so incompetent or so incapable that it cannot deal with this? Nigerian armed forces is about 100,000 strong. How can we allow a band of ragtag fanatics take over our country practically? And they are doing it. Every day they are gaining territory. And every day Jonathan says we'll end it in 3 months. And every day it doesn't end. But what are the various conspiracy theories? Let me move to that very quickly, because I think it is these conspiracy theories that really are at the root of Boko Haram. It is the belief of some people that Boko Haram is anything but what it is, a terrorist organization that has brought us to where we are. There are people that think that Boko Haram, and this is the London line, we laugh at it when we read it in British newspapers or the BBC. Boko Haram is fighting to Islamize Nigeria or impose an Islamic state. That is one narrative. I don't know what Islamize Nigeria means. Nigeria is almost evenly divided between Christians and Muslims, and in many families you have both. And these two adherents coexist in peace, and they attend Christmas, Salah, and so on. In fact, for many families, having two adherents is good because you tend to have more celebrations. Nigerians like celebrations. So that is one line. There are people that actually believe that Boko Haram is an Islamic organization and it wants to Islamize Nigeria. I'm a Muslim. There is nothing that Boko Haram does that has any relation to the core teachings of my religion. And I think everyone knows that. That is one narrative. The second narrative is, Boko Haram is a northern conspiracy against a southern Christian president. The weakness of that narrative is that Obasanjo, as I said, was a southern Christian president, and he didn't have to face Boko Haram. So there must be something else other than that. The third narrative is, this is all a plan, and this narrative is very common in where I come from, northern Nigeria. This is all a plan to break up Nigeria. Niger Delta wants to secede, they want to take their oil, they want to be a little Kuwait, and to ensure that they do that, they have to fund militancy in northern Nigeria, degrade the capability of the army so that the army would not be able to fight Niger Delta if they declare their own version of Biafra. This is a very strong narrative that is believed by most northerners, because we don't understand why the government is allowing this to fester, to happen. So this is another narrative. That narrative, of course, is the whole Boko Haram thing is a plot to revenge over the civil war. This narrative was very common during the time Ehijerika was chief of army staff. Ehijerika was the first Igbo person to be the chief of army staff since the death of Abu Irosi in 1966. And it was under Ehijerika that states of emergencies were declared in 3 northern states. But unfortunately, it was also under Ehijerika that the escalation of Boko Haram activities heightened. It was the time of Ehijerika that the grossest violation of human rights occurred. Indeed, both Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have filed indictments with the International Criminal Court alleging that the Nigerian army is guilty of crimes against humanity under Ehijerika's watch. So this narrative, again, is strongly believed in parts of northern Nigeria that this is all Biafra revisited. There are people that do not believe that the Nigerian civil war ended on 15th January 1966. So that's another narrative. The fourth and fifth narratives I'll take very quickly together. This is a southern plan to decimate the north and destroy its economy and its people, and it is all because of the incompetence of the federal government of Nigeria. Personally, I do not believe any of the narratives except the last one. The reality is we have an incompetent government, that it is so incompetent that it does not even understand its own self-interest, in my opinion. And it is putting us, Nigerians, and our country in danger because of this gross incompetence. But to get to the root of the problem, as I said, we should ask the question, who is benefiting? Why would anybody wake up and start killing people? Psychopaths do that, and we have psychopaths too. But who is benefiting from this insurgency? When the PDP tries to say that the APC is behind Boko Haram or is linked to Boko Haram, I always ask the question, why? What do we stand to benefit as APC? To be linked or to be behind or associated with Boko Haram? I will ask a few questions. I'll just mention 4 instances in which it is the government, so the sitting government and the PDP, that starts to benefit from Boko Haram rather than the APC, which leads me to the inevitable conclusion that the sitting government and the PDP have